Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 22nd day of Christmas here on 25 Days of Christmas on Off the Wall. I got Tishka with me. Tishka, how you doing?
I'm doing very good after getting in the right frame of mind to watch this movie.
And let us know down in the comments below if you're in the right frame of mind to watch this. Well, anyways, we're going to be talking about your favorite Christmas movie. So, what is your favorite Christmas movie? Tell us a little about it. Why is it your favorite?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously we watched this one. My favorite all time is "It's a Wonderful Life," the first multiverse movie ever, actually, back in the early 1900s. But no, this one, The Night Before, is absolutely one of my unsung hero movies of the Christmas season because it has representation from a lot of different groups, but it's an absolute ruckus of a time. And
Mm-hmm.
from our other channel, Ruckus
Mm-hmm.
Entertainment Variety, that
Yeah.
it kind of is on brand with us. But yeah, no, it's my favorite just because it's such a fun time. It's just ridiculous. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of drug references. It's crude, it's rude, but it's badass, dude.
This movie, we got three main characters, three best friends, their brothers, their family. Out of the three, who's your favorite?
Right. So the three in this movie, is Seth Rogen, who plays the soon to be father degenerate, and
Mm-hmm.
then you also got Anthony Mackie, who plays the kind of the over the hill athlete, who is really just about his fans, his stardom, his fame, and popularity, and then the main character Joseph Gordon-Levitt is kind of the one that's just kind of struggling with kind of growing up a little bit or just getting into that next stage of life, which I mean I know for myself I can kind of relate to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure other people out there, maybe you're kind of in the same way. You're not
Yep.
living up to societal standards, but you're just trying to have a good time and enjoy life as the best you can. But I mean, I know who your favorite is, and
Mm-hmm.
it's my favorite of the movie too. It's Seth Rogen. The guy
Yeah.
just fills every scene with his drug-induced comedy, as Seth Rogen does the best.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what's funny about his characters, you can really tell with him and his wife, who have a great
yeah,
relationship in
yeah.
this movie,
Right.
is I think they say he's a lawyer, that
Mhm.
he has his life together. He's about to have a child. So he's very put together, is the rock for his wife. And they even
Right.
make the
Yeah.
joke of like, oh, you're Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Yes, you're Mike Wayne Johnson. Yeah.
Johnson. But it's here's this box of drugs given to him by his wife. You've done so well for me. You've been such a rock for this family. Go have a fun night. And he does all the drugs and
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
hilarity.
All of them. Yeah. And probably not in the best of orders,
No,
honestly.
no. He started with shrooms, went to cocaine, then started popping pills, then who knows what else was in his body.
Yeah. Yeah.
With
No.
some alcohol in between.
Oh yeah, I think they started with alcohol because they popped the champagne.
Yeah.
But no, like yeah, like you're saying, like I mean, he actually had been clean. Who knows for how long? But we
Yeah.
kind of see him actually denying, wine or a drink at their
Yeah.
family Christmas party, and it was her family that they were kind of with. Because yeah, whenever we kind of get introduced to him, he's talking to some twins, and they're like, "You look funny," and he's like, "Well, have you seen The Shining?" Then they showed them on the couch with the twins. It's just like
Yeah.
the reference on point. But of course,
And they
the
ask
family's
him
like,
if he looks funny because he's Jewish too.
yeah,
Is that why
right.
you look funny? And I'm like, oh damn.
I mean, yeah, a little bit. I mean, I got curly hair, but yeah, no. But then like the sister is kind of like, can you stop talking to my kids? Which is probably any parent's response to Seth Rogen talking to their kid, at least from what we've seen in the movies. But no, but you talk about like the relationship between him and his wife,
Mhm.
who is absolutely awesome in that film, and oh my god, her name's escaping me right now, but I'm sure you'll get it.
And,
But no, like I mean,
Jillian
they're
Bell.
just with each other because she's like, oh my god, because even whenever they're pulling the girls away, she's like, hey, okay, hug, kiss. Okay. She's like, I'm gonna be cool. And he's like, no, you're gonna be awesome. You are
Mhm.
awesome. And just they have this great vulnerability with each other,
Mhm.
just encouragement. And
Yeah.
like you said, like with her giving the box of drugs, which I may or may not have had back in my day, neither here nor there. But which had cocaine, shrooms, acid, probably a little bit of Molly, some other things in the mix too,
Mhm.
some weed, obviously. But yeah, not like she was just like, hey, you've been great, take a break.
Yeah.
And and that's what we need. I mean, that's what you really want in a relationship, where
Mhm.
you kind of take turns being the foundation for each other, kind of
Yeah.
in that. And then whenever you kind of see someone either stressed out or just, hey, you've earned a break, go be with your friends, things of that nature. Not nagging each other and looking at each other's
Mhm.
phones and being in contention with each other in a relationship. That's just not healthy. And they have that. So yeah, so
Yeah.
it's really cool to see that.
And you get the at the end of the movie too, when she's like, "I'll be your rock," because he was the
Yeah.
one freaking out now. God, she's like, "I'm actually okay now," and I loved that. Just that's how relationships should work. So it's weird to think that this drug-induced, profane movie like has such a
Yeah,
good message and a good
dude.
representation of a
Right.
relationship.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
Julian Bell, by the way,
yeah,
or Jillian Bell, who I know her from Workaholics.
yeah,
So kind of seeing her in this movie, it was like, oh, dude, she's gonna be raunchy. She was gonna be off
mhm,
the wall. And yeah, she was the rock kind of for
mhm,
them. But yeah, to kind of see the counteraction between those two. Every character has, at least what I felt like, an incredible arc.
yeah,
Um, you have Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who is starting off working a dead end job and just feeling wasted, basically, just kind of in
mhm.
his life. Coming up on the tickets that him and his friends have been dreaming of, basically their
The
entire
Nutcracker
friendship.
Ball.
The Nutcracker Ball, man. It's this secret party every year that nobody knows who puts it on, but it's epic and everybody hears about it and wants to be a part of it. He finds those tickets and it's just like, yo, boys, we got it this year. I've got
Mhm.
this. And then they all kind of bring their own different element. One bringing the drug box, the other one bringing the limo from his sponsorship, as far as Anthony Mackie's character. But yeah, no, like it's just incredible arcs. I think all around each character, even the side characters have
Mhm.
maybe not necessarily arcs, but they have like reveals. So you get a
Yeah,
little M Night Shyamalan twist kind of within this too. But yeah, no, great movie overall. But yeah, Seth Rogen steals the show, and him and Jillian Bell's characters
yeah.
that are just awesome together. Yeah.
And going a little bit more into the movie, because we spoke a few scenes, but what are some of your
Yeah.
favorite scenes?
Oh man, I was a huge big fan,
Mhm.
kind of growing up, as maybe like a lot of people in my generation. So the FAO Schwartz scene, which I've only been in New York one time in high school, got to see the piano.
Yeah,
We kind of danced on it a little bit. But for them, that was their tradition.
yeah.
So kind of a little bit more of a backstory with this. Justin Gordon-Levitt's parents passed away in a car accident whenever he was young, and Seth Rogen and Anthony Mackie's character, which is Isaac and Chris, basically just kind of console him on Christmas, knowing that he's going through a hard time, and that kind of forges their newfound family. And
Mhm.
so it just created a tradition where they would go to FAO Schwartz every Christmas, and they would go play on the piano. And for this one, they go and they start with Kanye West's "Runaway" song. So which starts off with the same note as
Yeah,
the original that was in Big,
yeah.
which I can't remember the name of the song now, even though we just talked about it. Um, but no, like but it kind of starts off with the same note, so you kind of feel like it's going to be that, but then nope, it swerves left. It's Kanye West,
Yeah.
and such a great 2015 reference, really, kind of with
Mhm.
that. But just like a good kind of reference, and like we kind of mentioned, I mean, there's a lot of heart in this, so it's one of those kind of heart moments, and then they have a good transition into another scene, which is pretty exciting as well. So,
Mm. My favorite is Seth Rogen in the church tripping
Right?
balls.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
There's so many little things that, first off, it's Catholic Mass, and he's
Yeah.
there with a
Midnight Mass.
sweater that
Or well,
has
not midnight mass, but yeah, late mass. Yeah.
the Star of David, like a giant Star of David and a bunch of little stars of David around it. So
Oh
they
man.
can they tell I'm Jewish? Goes, yes, because we're
Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, covered in a sweater. My gosh.
and they're standing up to pray, and he starts going like speaking in Hebrew, going the
Hana,
Baruch
hana,
atah
hana.
Adonai. And it was like, you
Stop
can't
it.
do that. That's a Jewish thing. And I was like, what? I'm just praying. Go, no, it's the same God.
Yeah, right? I mean,
and,
he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
and then the hallelujah goes, it's not that type of church. And as he's leaving, after he threw up in
Mhm.
church, so we did not kill Jesus. We didn't kill him. And I'm just cracking up through this whole thing. And his poor wife, and then still they are so good to each other, even though she's
Yeah.
there like this fucking idiot.
Right. Yeah. 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 Of course, embarrassing to her because, she's in front of her family, which
Mm-hmm.
was kind of set up that they were kind of judgmental already to kind of begin
Yeah.
with. But I love I love the setup for the scene
Yeah.
because yeah, he's tripping, and they all get separated. Ethan, Isaac, and Chris, the friends, they get kind of separated a little bit because I think I think Chris is chasing the chick that stole his weed,
Yes.
and then Ethan is kind of off, kind of on his own, kind of trek or bender. But anyways, yeah, no, but with Isaac, he's tripping and he's talking to the nativity scene, and not just talking to it, he's hearing them talk back. And he's like, "Oh my God, you're so cool. What's your name?" And he's like, "My name's Spencer." And he's like, "Oh, Spencer, you're so." And it's like Joseph,
Yeah.
Mother Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus. And he's like, "Yeah, these are my friends and relatives." "Oh my God, hi." He's like, "Yeah, these are my pets." "Oh, you got dogs?" And it's like petting a goat. And
Yeah.
it's like, "Oh my God, we love to meet you." And he's like, "Oh, they talk too." And it's
Because
like you
all
get
dogs
engulfed.
talk back.
Yeah. And it's such a great setup because you get caught up in that scene and like
Yeah.
the absolute ridiculousness of it. And then his wife is like,
What are
"Isaac?"
you doing here? Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, "Oh, hey, babe." And he grabs the staff and is walking up with the staff.
He was like, oh, I was just talking to Spencer and his diverse
It's
family.
diverse. Yeah. And it's just like, and then it goes into that scene. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. It's so hilarious.
And it's funny
Um,
to think
yeah.
too, because in the church, he doesn't know that his sweater has the Star of David on it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
he
Yeah.
knows earlier because they go to eat at a
Mhm.
Chinese restaurant, which everyone knows Chinese restaurants are open during Christmas. And you have this group of Sephardic Jews eating at the restaurant, and he's just like pointing to his sweater, like opening it up, like, hey, I'm one of you,
Yeah.
as he
Yeah.
walks
And then
in.
they're like looking back, like, yeah, we see you, bud. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, shrooms will make you forget a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. So I've been told. So I've been told. But yeah, no, I mean, just an epic of a scene. Of course, they use it in the trailers.
Yeah.
You guys watching, I mean, please take the time to watch the movie, but at the very least, take the time to YouTube or Google that scene. It's so hilarious.
My other favorite is the whole thing, both scenes with the dick pic, which we find
Yeah.
out it's James Franco later in the movie. But at first, like him getting, because him and Mindy Kaling's character
Mhm.
switch phones by accident. And so he's getting these pictures from James Franco, and he's just like, oh, what? Like, and is texting him back, and he's just like, oh, I've never sucked a dick before. I did touch a kid's a dick at summer
Yeah.
camp once. Like,
Yeah. I did touch one guy's dick.
and it was so fun. This continuation, and then the conversation
Mhm.
to him and Mindy Kaling, which is like,
Yep.
wow, it's a primo, like A+ dick. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Do
so
you think I
funny
can
that this,
handle it? Like, yeah.
and it's funny that like this straight guy, like is so open, he's so tripping on balls that he's
Oh yeah.
able to have this conversation so freely that most guys would be like, I'm not gay.
Right.
Which,
Yeah. Yeah. You get offended by it. It's like, dude. Oh yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
because you have the two when at first the first scene with it
Yeah.
goes, are you gay? No. Are you curious? Everyone is.
Everyone's curious. Yeah. 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 Absolutely great. And I mean, of course, 2015. I mean, we're as a society, we're kind of getting a little bit more, exposed and open
Mm-hmm.
to all sexualities and representations. But yeah, no, still, yeah, still absolute gem, of a scene or kind of coupled scenes to
Yeah.
really show some representation of dicks. And it was James Franco's dick. Was it his real dick? I don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe he almost got canceled there for a little bit, but yeah.
And these are not favorite scenes,
Mhm.
but finding out that Mr. Green is the one who
Dude,
throws the Nutcracker ball.
yeah. Oh well, and yeah, and that's yeah, that kind of brings a few other things too, but yeah, Mr. Green in general, played by Michael Shannon, absolutely uh, one of the best. I mean, he's not the narration, but he plays basically all the ghosts because
Mm.
Christmas past, Christmas present, Christmas future, and the connection is smoking weed. So, Chris Anthony Mackie's character is the first to go buy weed from Mr. Green. It's a guy they've been buying from since high school, and they have to
Mm.
meet him in front of a high school or his mom's house. And he's like, "Well, why? We're not going to go to my mom's house." Like, I know that's why I said the high school, and it's because he doesn't trust a whole lot of people, which 2015 probably still illegal for sure in New York City.
Mhm.
And but yeah, so Chris jumps into the car with them, and he's like, "Hey, we got to try it before you buy it, right?" And so he smokes, and yeah, is the ghost of Christmas present,
Mhm.
and is just living in the present at that time, which kind of brings up a little bit of a trip with a fan, kind of later on who
Yeah.
sniffs weed. But then, yeah, the Mr. Green says, "Tell Isaac I'll see him in 2 hours." And he's like, "Well, what are you talking about, man?" And he's like, "That's the weirdest conversation I've ever had."
Yeah.
Well, lo and behold, 2 hours later, um, I think after the church scene,
Yeah.
then Seth Rogen's character actually gets into the car with him and smokes, and it's the Ghost of Christmas Past or Future. Sorry, Ghost of Christmas Future, and he sees his soon-to-be daughter
Yeah.
stripping, and Julian Bell, his wife Betsy, is like, "Yeah, that's right. You shake that pussy, girl."
Yeah.
He's like, "No, don't do that. Don't
You
shake it."
hear, you hear me, young lady. You pop that
Yeah,
pussy.
exactly. Oh my god. And just kind of sees that, and it's basically just foreboding of his fears and insecurities of being a father for the first time,
Yeah.
which I'm sure everybody has had. But then, yeah, then we kind of see the ghost of Christmas past, which is for Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character Ethan, and it goes back to the first time, the first Christmas,
Mhm.
where he's packing up his parents' boxes and belongings. And
Yeah.
like it's a serious moment, but he's like, "Dude, I never realized how old people have so much shit." He's like, "Make sure you get rid of your stuff," which is true. Which is true.
Yeah.
I'm not terribly old, but I got a lot of shit, and I probably need to get rid of. But no, but then they kind of that's whenever they kind of start that tradition. But then yeah, we find out the Nutcracker Ball, that the whole time from the first time they hung out and found out about the Nutcracker Ball from some people that came into the bar. They've been trying to find it the whole time, and it was Mr.
Mhm.
Green. Mr.
Yeah.
Green was one that put it on, and even at the beginning with Anthony Mackie, the first time he's like, "Hey, I got this party that I'm kind of putting on. It's not in my car."
Yeah.
He's like, "But you guys are invited." Like, sorry, man." And the guy's in a beat up sedan,
Yeah.
So the appearance and the judgment of it is like, sorry, man, we've got another party we got invited to.
Right.
He's like, "All right, man." He's like, "My feelings aren't hurt. That's all right." But yeah, just kind of that full circle. But then you got
Mhm.
the references to the Christmas Carol. You have a little bit of references to It's a Wonderful Life. You also have some other references, I think,
Yeah,
in the movie
Home
too, right?
Alone, Die
Yeah,
Hard. So it's one of those movies that gives references to so many other movies, and if you are a cinephile, you're like, oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. But then you're also just cracking up so much at
dude.
just the
Yeah,
hilarity that you're seeing on screen.
yeah.
So, my final question for you:
No, let's go. Let's do
why
it.
should people put this in their yearly Christmas rotation?
Dude, because I mean, all the other ones are lame as shit. No, I'm kidding. Christmas movies are great. I love A Christmas Story. I love Christmas Carol. I love It's a Wonderful Life. Christmas Vacation. Die Hard. Eight Crazy Nights, one of my favorite Christmas cartoons. You got all of the Rudolph. You got everything, but like a lot of them are just super clean, right? Just like the snow. This is yellow snow. This is the yellow snow of Christmas
And Black
movies. Just
Ice.
yeah, this is Black Eyes. You gotta look out for Black Eyes. Yeah. Great Key and Peele skit, by the way. Look that up. I will not reference it much more. But no, it's a great palate cleanser, I think,
Mhm.
in the dirtiest of ways, right? This is one that probably me and my sisters, we're gonna have a few drinks. We're gonna watch it when all the kids are in bed. Mom and dad
Mhm.
are asleep. They're watching Hallmark movies, eating popcorn. The kids are nestled, dreaming of sugar plum fairies and shit. And then it's the adults, and then we're just
Yeah.
here to cut up a little bit, maybe take an edible, maybe a little bit, But it's just you kind of cut loose, and
Yeah.
uh, the movie has so much heart. Like it still has the Christmas spirit,
Yeah.
very much well ingrained within the movie, within the references, the script, the dialogue, and the arcs. But then it's just accented and peppered with a
Mhm.
little bit of spice as far as just the drug and and the sex deviation or deviant, kind of behavior. But it's just so much fun. So definitely don't watch it with your kids, but
Yeah.
watch it with your siblings, watch it with your friends whenever you're playing Dirty Santa or something of that nature, and just have a great time, enjoying the Christmas spirit, and really remembering that even if you don't have your biological family with you, or or you maybe not the best of relationship with your biological family, it's about found family and the
Mhm.
family that you choose, and it's also about just as you grow up, you have to work on those friendships and relationships. You can't,
Yeah.
it's not like when we were kids where, hey, you're right next door and I don't have a fucking car. So I guess we're going to hang out. We're going to play Nintendo 64, everything of that nature. It's, oh, we all have our own thing, but we're choosing to come together and we're choosing to have our traditions and just continue this Christmas spirit and build on the relationships. And that's what it's about. That's what life is about. You grow
Yeah.
up, you grow estranged, you kind of get your own lives, but you choose to come together. And it's that choice that really makes the difference in life.
And what I love about this movie, it does have so
Mic drop.
much Christmas spirit and heart. But the one
Yeah.
with the biggest Christmas spirit is the Jew in this
Yeah.
movie.
Right. So many spirits, man.
But he's the most heartfelt in this
Yeah.
movie. And I love that. I love all the representation in this movie. And I think everyone should go watch it because it was my first time watching it and I loved
Yes.
it. So be like me.
Yeah. Or be like me. If you've already seen it, watch it again. Get inebriated, get in the mode, get in the Christmas spirit, and just have a good time.
Well, thank you so much, Tushka. And
Yeah, thank you so
thank
much.
you
Thank you.
guys for watching. Make sure to comment down below what's your favorite scene if you've seen this. If you haven't seen it, tell us why you're not watching it and maybe go do that because it's a good movie. But, anyways, it's the 22nd day of 25 Days of Christmas.
Deuce, deuce. Emmett Smith, baby.
Hey, make sure to tune in tomorrow for day 23.